Hello and welcome to Murrayfield and Me, a love story by Bruce Aitchison from Happiness is Egg-Shaped. I love to talk about Murrayfield, my days there, my afternoons there, playing, coaching, hosting hospitality, making announcements, watching the grass grow, whatever the excuse, whatever the reason, I love to be at Murrayfield. And this today is one of those memories that will last for a very long time. There are lots of firsts in your life, the first kiss, the first whatever else, but the first time you take your kids to somewhere very, very important is one that sticks out in your memory. The girls had been to Murrayfield a few times, Katy and Maisie, my girls, Mayhem and Kaos. And they'd been to Edinburgh Games, they'd been to finals day, they'd been to various things, but going on an international day is a big deal. It's also expensive. So what better way to do it than Scotland against Italy? One of the cheaper games to go to. Let's face it, I am Scottish and every penny's a prisoner. So we booked the tickets, family of four, my wife Nikki and my girls Maisie and Katy. It was to be Vern Cotter's last game as coach of Scotland. I loved Vern Cotter. I loved his demeanour. I loved his attitude. I loved how he had embraced Scotland, and the players all seemed to talk about Vern and his relationship with them, that quiet Kiwi that you just knew if he got angry, you were in serious trouble. But he just seemed to be a constant. A friend of mine, Michael Dawson, fantastic guy who had been at Murrayfield Wanderers, the club at the time I was coaching for about a million years. He had invited me and the other coach, Ian Jeffries, to an event before the Wales game with Vern Cotter there to talk, and it was in the Up and Under bar, which is at the stadium, and it was only for invited guests. And Mike is a debenture holder, and his father had been a debenture holder before him. So I felt very honoured, and I was very excited, obviously, because I was back at BT Murrayfield. I was with Mike and I was with my mate Jeffers, and there was to be a Q&A, and Chris Patterson, who I've known for a long time, was to be hosting the Q&A, and he said, please ask a question because I'm worried nobody's going to say anything. Like, don't you worry, I'll have a question. Now, in the game against Ireland, Alex Dunbar had been in the line-out as a centre, and it had been thrown straight to him, and he dived over and scored a try. And it was quite a big deal, and Ross Ford was the hooker, and Ross Ford was also to be on the Q&A panel with Vern Cotter that night. So there we were, having some drinks and some snacks and meeting people and saying hello and, oh, I've not seen you for a long time. How's it going? Just like you do in any clubhouse in the game. And then the Q&A started, and the first question was opened up. Mossy had done his introductions, asked some questions, and then it was opened up to the audience. And the first question was from this grumpy old guy over here who said, Vern, why can the Scotland players not catch a kickoff? Are you kidding me on? That was the first question. You've got that free rein to ask the coach of Scotland any question in the world, and your question is, why can Scottish players not catch a kickoff? So fair play to Vern. He gave the answer, well, I'm trying to coach them to stand sideways on and catch you on the back shoulder. And he was brilliant. Absolutely magnificent. Next question. Bruce Aitchison's got his hand up. H.A., question? Absolutely. I said, can I just start by saying, Vern, thank you for everything you've done for Scottish rugby over the last few years. The place went whoosh, and everybody cheered, and I thought, good on you. And Vern did this thing that I'll never forget, and he won't remember, and he'll have no idea who I am, but I'll never forget it, because BT Murrayfield makes memories. He fixed me with this look, and he just went, Vern Cotter winked at me. Vern Cotter winked at me. It was awesome. And then I asked my question that was actually for Ross Ford, and I said, is it true that Alec Dunbar is going to be calling the lineouts from now on? Which got a laugh, which I like. I like to make people laugh. And Fordy, fair play to him, gave his answer and said, oh yeah, we'd practiced it in the week, but Greg Laidlaw was at the front of the lineout, and when they practiced it, they kept hitting him on the back of the head. It was gold. It was those moments, those beautiful little moments that while they were shared with some people, they're in here. I've remembered them. Fast forward to the last game. It's Italy at home. We won 29-0. I had to look that one up. I couldn't remember the result because, unfortunately, I have also been at BT Murrayfield when we've lost to Italy. So I had to look that one up. But we did win. And it was Maisie and Katy's first game. Were we early? Let's just say we were there before the staff on the turnstiles. We were there very, very early. We walked around. I wanted the girls to get the sense of excitement, not really realizing that you only get that sense of excitement having had the experience before. So fair play to them. They were very, very good and kind to their dad because they humoured me and they kept me going. Maisie will go anywhere with chips. So she was quite happy because there were chips on offer. And we went for a walk and then it was there. There was the European Cup and the Challenge Cup, so we got our pictures taken with the cup. We got our pictures taken through those selfie board things for the Scotland-Italy game. We had a great time. It was awesome. By the time we got to their seats, they were kind of tired and had kind of got fed up with it. But they said this thing to me. Katy, my youngest, said this thing to me. Daddy, do you know everybody? And I loved that. My heart nearly burst because I bumped in to so many people that I knew. And that's the beauty, whether it's an international game with over 67,000 or you're down at the clubhouse with 10. You know people and you share that little moment and you have that little story, you backslap, you handshake, you introduce to the other people in your company, and then you all go about your business and have your own experience. And I loved that they could see this was a place where you could share those experiences and build those relationships and make those memories. And then the best bit of the whole day happened. Of course, they needed to go to the toilet. So I'm taking Katy down the stairs to go to the toilet because we were sitting all the way up there. And I took Katy down to the toilet. Now, Katy had been going to Rugby Tots on a Friday afternoon. It was joy. Absolute joy. She loved to wear the full kit. And the coach was a guy called Carl McWilliam, who I had coached before. Awesome Kiwi fella, and he had her running with the ball in two hands. She was scoring try. She loved Rugby Tots, and I loved taking her. I loved sitting back and watching her play rugby. It was the best. And as we go down to go to the toilet, who do we bump into but her new pal from Rugby Tots, Rory, with his old man who I knew. And it was gold because they said hello and we spoke about Rugby Tots. They were on their way back to their seat from the toilet. We were on our way to the toilet from our seat. And as we said our goodbyes, I turned to Katy and said, see, I told you, that's the Rugby family. Do you know everybody here? And she just went a little bit red and said, don't be silly, Daddy. How cool is that? That on our first trip to Murrayfield, 67,500 there for a Six Nations game, and she met somebody that she knew. Awesome. Everything I wanted all rolled into one. It was also Bill Johnson's last game, the amazing BBC commentator on the radio and TV, a man in the same bracket as Bill McLaren. Bill Johnson, what an absolute legend. PE teacher, like all the best people, a PE teacher at Jedburgh Grammar School down in the Scottish borders. And when I was hosting hospitality for Edinburgh, Bill was there with Roy Laidlaw and a few other worthies from the Jed Forest Club. And I went up to Bill and said, Bill, would you come up on stage and talk to us? He said, don't you dare, Bruce. I don't need anybody to know that I'm here. Don't you even mention it, which just made me laugh. What an amazing guy. Not courting anything, just went about his business very, very well, contributed to the development and the progress of heaps of rugby players down the years, and he commentated brilliantly for many, many years. It was also his last game. So for Vern and Bill to say hello, I'm pretty sure they handed the baton to Maisie and Katy, who were there for their first game. Happy, happy days. Happiness is egg-shaped at Murrayfield. You got to believe it. It's the greatest place. It's my place of worship. It's the theatre of dreams. Murrayfield and Me, a Love Story by me, Bruce Aitchison from Happiness is Egg-Shaped. You can find it on Acast, Spotify and Apple. Please subscribe. Please get involved. Please leave a review. And if you can, tune into our bigger pods with our special guests, because this is just me talking about Murrayfield, my favourite place. I look forward to seeing you again soon. I hope you've enjoyed it. My happiness is egg-shaped.